Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'd like to kind of break down the recent news that has come out about Matt Reeves's new film, The Batman, which is set to be a pseudo reboot to the DCEU Batman, who was played by Ben Affleck. Now, just to go over the recent events, this movie was announced, I think, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that Matt Reeves was going to be doing it. Originally, Ben Affleck was attached to it. That was when he was still involved with the DCEU before he had a relapse in his alcoholism, and he chose to drop the role. Um, so so now that he is out of that production, they then began their search for a new Batman, and there were some rumors early on. Army Hammer was rumored early on, and a few other actors. But now we're seeing that there's really two actors that have been kind of uh, spotlighted on for this. The big one is Robert Pattinson, who most people would remember from the Twilight films, and the other one is Nicholas Holt, who had played Beast in the Fox X-Men films, and he will reprise his role for this year's Dark Phoenix, which will be his last, what we believe to be his last portrayal of the character. So I'm going to try and break down both of them. I'll go with Holt first because I want to spend most of my time on Pattinson. Now, as far as Holt goes, from a physical aspect, he's going to need to bulk up a lot more. He's somewhat skinny. Even as Beast, I feel that he's a bit too skinny because Beast is really kind of like a wide character. He's built almost like he's built like a brick shithouse. He's not really lanky. So I kind of even have an opinion with that. And, Batman is supposed to be relatively, he's supposed to be essentially menacing. He's fairly tall, he's very muscular, and, some of that comes from the suit. But at the same time, I don't know if Holt can pull that off. At the same time, also, he doesn't really have a very defined jawline. And I think when we all think of Batman, we think of kind of, he has that kind of very defined square jaw. And maybe that's just because I'm more used to the animated version from the Batman the Animated Series and Justice League and stuff like that, where they all had these really wide chests and square jaws and stuff like that. But even in comics, a lot of the time, he really does have those pronounced features. But, just from a physical aspect, I don't know if Holt has what it takes. If he goes into a physical regimen and he bulks up, because I don't think this thing is supposed to start filming until late this year, early next year. Um, if he bulks up and makes himself kind of like what Ben Affleck did, where Ben Affleck added, even though he had a wide frame, he added a lot to himself when he started playing the character. Um, I think it could still work. If he did that, and again, this is very early. This is casting. We don't necessarily know what certain things are going to look like. And I think Holt is a safe choice, again, assuming that you can get the physical aspects correct. Some people were a little bit worried about Ben Affleck because he has that cleft chin, but again, when you put him in the suit, it all worked out. Personally, I personally enjoyed his interpretation of Batman. Minus the killing. The killing was a little dumb, but as far as him just playing the character, he legitimately felt menacing, and I enjoyed that. And they finally fixed the voice because they just gave him a voice modulator, which I hope they'll keep in the Matt Reeves film because, again, I think that was a great idea, and it you don't have to have somebody like Christian Bale talking like they're gargling rock salt. So that's Holt, and like I said, he's the safe choice out of the two because he's not going to be attached to anything. He doesn't have any huge roles that people really associate him with aside from Beast, and even then, it's kind of like, okay, we just kind of remember, oh yeah, he was Beast. It's not like that's Beast, like we all know that's Beast. It's not like Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. It's good. I feel sorry for the guy that has to step in for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine because he is going to have a shit ton on his plate. But back to what I was saying before is Pattinson is the big name that's been announced, and he was the one that was originally touted. And I believe the original article or the original news said that he had been cast, but now they're saying that, oh no, he's one of the likely ones, and they also named Holt. But Here's the issue with Pattinson, and I know that he has done plenty of films since the last film in the Twilight series, which I believe, which according to his filmography, the last film came out in 2012. So it's been, it's been 5, 6 years, or it's been 6, 7 years since that last film came out, and he hasn't, dropped off. He's been busy. He's been doing stuff. Again, if you look at his filmography, you can see he's been very busy. He's had a project coming out, one or two projects coming out almost every year. So he's not he's a working actor. It's not like he's not like he was typecast per se. But here's the thing: is that most of those roles that he's taken have not been in huge blockbuster films. They've not been in films that the summer tentpole films that you go to see generally. The big superhero films like an Avengers movie or something like that. He hasn't been in one of those bigger films, and because of that, I think everybody still remembers him from those Twilight movies, and that's a problem. And it's not. I don't have a problem with Robert Pattinson as an actor, uh, because the Twilight movies are crap, but the books were crap, and the writers were crap, and everything else was crap. So you give an actor crap material, that's normally how it's going to work out. So I'm not even taking points off for the fact that he was in Twilight. Look, it was probably a really good payday for him too. Just like Michael Caine in Jaws: The Revenge. I believe he said that it was a crap movie, but it paid for a very nice beach house. So looking back, now we have this kind of thing where everybody remembers him from those four Twilight films. Nobody remembers him from anything else that he's done, regardless of whether or not the performance was good or not. Um, and like I said before, that's a problem because it's association. So everybody says, "Oh, he's going to be playing Batman. You're going to make sparkly vampire boy Batman? That sucks. I'm not going to go see that." So that's what first comes into people's minds. And again, this isn't a knock on Pattinson as an actor. This is just stating that there is association. There is very clear association between him and that character because he hasn't done anything else really that big. Um, and this could change things. I'm not saying it couldn't, but I think it could create problems with marketing this film because you're going to have people that are going to come out and no matter what you tell them, no matter what you say, they're going to say, "I'm not going to watch this because you cast Sparkly Vampire Boy as Batman. Screw you." Um, and even though it's an illogical argument, people are going to make it. And you know that as a producer. So I don't understand why you're kind of toting this. I think it would have been a better idea to, Matt Reeves's film has been kind of rushing around ever since Affleck left the production. So I think it might have been a better idea to maybe, test the waters a bit more. There was rumors that Jake Gyllenhaal was going to take the role. Obviously, he was scooped up by the MCU, which is unfortunate. I think he would have been an interesting Batman. Um, but it's early. It's really, really early to say anything about what a Robert Pattinson Batman would look like. I will say this from a physical standpoint. I think he can bulk up to that point. He has a bit of a wider frame than Holt, so I think it could work a lot better. He has the jawline. I will say that. He has the Batman animated series jawline. Um, so that would definitely work. And on top of that, the only thing I'm kind of concerned about is maybe the voice, because you always he has this very, and again it's not his fault, but he has this very soft kind of spoken voice. Batman is very how we picture his voice. Obviously I'm thinking of Kevin Conroy in that respect because whenever I hear Batman's voice, that's what I think of as Kevin Conroy. I don't think of Michael Keaton or Christian Bale or any of them. I think of Kevin Conroy because that voice is so imposing, and it's deep and it's gruff, but it's not raspy or anything like that, and it works. Um, it works extremely well, and it fits the character perfectly. So you know there's a bunch of stuff right now that's up in the air about this. I will say I'm kind of split on it. I think it's kind of a bad idea because of his association with Twilight and how that's kind of carried forward with 50 Shades of Grey and stuff like that. Um, and I think that if you give it enough time and you show people that he can hack it, that he can do it, then you're going to have people that are going to say they're going to accept it, and they're going to say, okay, you're going to have those detractors that are just going to say screw you no matter what. But what they have to do is they have to show during the production, they have to show, oh hey, here's him in the bat suit, look how good this looks. Oh hey, here's a scene with him as Batman, hey look how good this looks. Or show his like audition tape or something like that, leak quote unquote that out. Or put some stuff out that you have interviews with him, do stuff like that. You're going to need to do a lot of positive PR to sell some people on this, but I think if you do it correctly, you can sell people on that. People were skeptical about Heath Ledger's Joker, because I think, if I remember at the time, people were saying, oh, it's going to be Brokeback Joker, because Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal were in Brokeback Mountain, which was a movie about gay cowboys. So, everybody started making fun, like, oh, you cast this dude? Come on. And then he blew everybody away with the performance and won a posthumous Oscar for it. He unfortunately died before he could accept it, but there, there are instances where the casting like that has worked. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I think, again, I think it could go either way. I think if they're not, I think if they are really confident that he can pull off the role, and they're good filmmakers, and they give the proper PR to him as Batman, and play it up and try and get people to accept him, persuade people to accept him as Batman as the production goes forward, I think it can work. But if they don't do that, if they just say, oh, screw you, you don't like him because of X, Y, and Z, or stuff like that, if they start attacking people over it, then you're going to have problems. What they really need to do is they need to say, look, if they do cast him, because again, this is still up in the air, if they do cast him, just say, look, we're casting him. Just give us a chance and let us show you what we have. If you don't like it, then you don't have to go see the film. But if you do, but if this changes your mind, then we'd love for you to buy a ticket and come see it, because we think it's a really good movie. That's what they have to do, and I hope they do it. I don't really know too much about Matt Reeves aside from his involvement in this film, but I don't know if he's one of the lunatics in Hollywood who screams at people on the internet. But I think that's what they have to do to make this work if they cast him. And who knows? He could be a really good Batman. Like I said, he has the jawline, which is more than Nicholas Holt has. So that's my thoughts on that. You can put your thoughts in the comments on what you think of either of those actors playing Batman, whether you like it, whether you hate it. Leave a like on the video, hit the bell for notifications, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?